All right, we are recording. As I like to say, from here on out, man, it's public record, so be careful.
It's all public record. One thing they don't realize is that they're surveilling themselves.
Yeah. It's
And
funny.
that's all about to come out too. I don't know if you know that, but Uber just did a big investigation, and he was scheduled to testify yesterday before Congress, but it got overshadowed by Bush's funeral.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just started watching a documentary on Netflix, something about the creepy line or something. It's about the algorithms that Google and Facebook has and how they can redirect you for certain information and they control what you see and all that stuff. So it's like, that's kind of creepy.
Mind control. It's just media taken to the next level. The mind's already been co-opted by the media corporations that are intertwined with the multinational corporations, the drug manufacturers and the food companies. And so it's all combined as one. It's pay for play. It's pay to play since day one of the media. Edward Bernays was Freud's nephew, and he took all that psychological technology and used it against mankind. From day one, he invented public relations in the early 20s.
Yeah. They say that we're the product for those algorithms. Yeah.
That's it. And they create problems, which are marketing campaigns, and their solutions are whatever products that they're selling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I didn't want to get off on this tangent in the very beginning, but we're straight for the conspiracy theories. But I'm just
There's
excited.
No conspiracy.
Yeah, it's fact. It's true.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited to talk to you, man. It's crazy, this life I live. One minute I'm following someone on social media, and then the next minute I'm talking to them, and it's just cool having a podcast. So I get to connect with people, and so I just want to say thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time to come on and share some of your knowledge and wisdom and stuff. So
my pleasure, man.
Cool. Now, I'll be honest, I only just recently started following you, like maybe a month or two ago. And I think I found you through Ronnie Landis.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then through you, I discovered who Paul Chek was. So there's like this whole ripple effect of people that I'm discovering. I'm like, just when I thought I had the whole lifestyle community in my hands, I'm like, nope, there's so much more out there. People doing some amazing things out there. So it's so cool.
Yeah, I think the buck stops at Paul Chek, though, because he developed all the physical programs, intertwined all the mental, emotional, spiritual aspects. And, you know, he trains the world's elite trainers in MMA and surfing and et cetera, and even the action sports, motocross and skateboarding. And so, you know, he's as far as I can see on the internet, you know, the buck stops there. He goes into shamanism and talks philosophically about God, and was on Aubrey Marcus's podcast and just knocked it out of the park. So, you know, at that level, that's pretty much it, because there's fundamental principles that apply to all biology and physiology on planet Earth. And when you get those fundamental principles, you know, as your base layer, you know, then you can advance to some of the more fancy stuff, the shamanism, the esoteric practices of the Egyptians, or the Taoists or the yogis. But for the most part, you know, Paul in the Western world, you know, he's the highest. If you can find somebody higher, I'm down for it. And he's studied all the greats, from Montauk Chia to Ken Wilber and Charles Poliquin, and, you know, the who's who of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health.
Yeah. Does Paul, he must like deal with the detoxification stuff too, right? Like he's versed in that as well.
He is. And he gets into some of that stuff. I'm sure you could probably find a video or two. He covers apple cider vinegar and some of the other elements. His methodology is really creating a holistic lifestyle.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why I resonated with you when I discovered you, because yeah, you just seem like you have a really broad, holistic approach to things. You know, you're doing the Qigong, doing the breath work, cold therapy, you're into the superfoods and all that stuff. And It's just kind of some of the areas that I haven't explored yet. So I was excited to talk to you about that. And you seem very Wim Hof influenced, which I'm super fascinated by that guy. So I was excited to talk to you and kind of get your perspective on things. So I just want to say, by the way, I'm loving the beard too, man. I saw your posts on Instagram, saw the physique, the beard, the hair. I'm like, that's what I'm going for. That's what I want. So I was digging your vibe, man.
Sweet, man. We'll get you there.
Yeah. If we get my hair to come back, yeah, it's all good. Yeah. So you just wrapped up a fitness upgrade. I guess you did your Rip to 50 and then the Road to Yoked, your hashtags. So I was just kind of curious. I want to get into that in a minute about how you did that with nutrition, mindset, maybe some of your exercise regimen and stuff like that. But first, maybe just give us a brief little synopsis of your background, your experience, your credentials, and where you're coming from, basically, just for the audience.
Yeah, great, Chris. So I started studying nutrition back in 1989. I was a Versace model sitting in Milan, and it was a cutthroat industry. And if you gain an ounce of water weight, next thing they're like, honey, you're fat. Go lose some weight. And you're like,
yeah,
I'm the same as I was yesterday. What happened? And I had digestive issues, and I started reading nutrition. And I was an American. I grew up on Captain Crunch and Pop-Tarts, and
yeah.
lo and behold, that's not real food, that's processed food. And so I got into whole foods. Then I got into juicing, fasting, herbal medicine, internal purification. I practiced that throughout my modeling career to keep me really looking and feeling my best, keeping fresh. Years later, I realized that there's genetic mutations on the detoxification pathways. And intuitively, I just figured that out for myself and helped my own tissues and organs detoxify naturally, utilizing fasting and juice cleansing. And from there, I had a pretty hardcore rock star phase. I did 4 Versace campaigns, and I was traveling all around the world and, partying like a rock star, basically. And
Right.
that was short lived. And, after a while, the hangovers got to be, like 4 or 5 days. And it was just like, I couldn't handle it anymore. And I moved to LA to build an acting career. And I knew I couldn't do that as a party animal. So, it took me a while to sober up, and then I started practicing Vipassana meditation. I did 10-day courses of silent meditation. I studied with S.N. Goenka, and that, revolutionized my mind, my heart, my soul, everything, and pointed me in the right direction. I got really in touch with the deeper parts of how my mind and body show up in the world. And so I practiced that religiously for about 6 years. I did 11 courses in silence, about 110 days total.
Oh, wow.
And at the same time, I started working with Maori indigenous healers that do very profound body work. They read the body, find out where the energetic impedance is, and remove it, whether that's opening up your fascia and your connective tissue, or whether that's, something deeper that's stored at the soul level. And so very, very powerful indigenous healers. Been working with them for 20 years. I've seen miracles. I've seen exorcisms. I've seen them do ghost busting on homes, and, just miracles upon miracles. I've seen them work on quadriplegics. I've seen them, get people's mobility back.
Right.
Just miracles. And so I worked with them, and very intrigued about indigenous wisdom, and studied with some of their elders. And then I started working with an herbal company in the Amazon in 2005, started researching all the plants. And I went down for my first expedition in 2006. I had 3 powerful visions when I was doing ayahuasca ceremony in the jungle the first time. I was working with the Shipipo Indians. And I had a vision of my daughter came to me, and I wasn't married at the same time. And my intention was to connect with the divine feminine and open up my heart. And so I got that, and so much more. So I wasn't married at the time, and I wasn't in a relationship. And I came home and I found the woman, and we had children, and I realized it was my daughter spirit that came to me. And so that vision's been unfolding ever since. I had a vision of an amalgamation of my online on-camera career and my natural medicine studies for about 20 years, and my comedy background. And the Certified Health Nut was born in the middle of the Amazon. I came out of the jungle, and YouTube was a brand new reality. And I started posting all my exotic footage, working with the tribes down there, and my research around the plants. And the third vision was that humanity makes it from the edge of ecological disaster that we're
Yeah, I was going
facing
to ask
right
you about
now.
that. Yeah.
So those are the three visions. They've been unfolding ever since. I think we're seeing that on the world stage being played out as the geopolitical scene unravels, as the corporate structure unravels, as the internet continues to expose the collusion and corruption and the games that have been played against humanity for so long. And
Right.
so, and I promote all this through my online platform, Certified Health Nut. And then, you know, becoming a parent and a husband, you know, that was a very powerful spiritual journey that's still, you know, full steam ahead. And I've been through a divorce recently. So we did about 10 and a half years married, and the divorce has been very spiritually activating because I wanted to find peace with my ex-wife as opposed to just have another battle in my life.
Right.
And that's working out great. And now my platform, Certified Health Nut, is about 13, 14 years old. And I continue to, you know, work with other people and collaborate, and the messages are spreading, and they're all holistic, fundamental messages. Good for the goose, good for the gander, man, woman, old, young, boy, girl, it doesn't matter. You know, it's fundamental, holistic, good for anyone.
Right, right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that fact that because I'm kind of always going through a transition, or things are always changing. If you stay stagnant and very dogmatic and don't kind of flow and adjust and change to things, I don't think that's going to work out too well. Because I tend to be more intuitive. Because I've mentioned this before, I got super sucked into like people on social media and following them. Like one person's like, oh, I'm going to start a 14-day juice cleanse. And this person's over here is promoting the herbs. I'm like, it all sounds good. I got to be doing all this. I got to get on top of it. And then I'm doing what they're doing and not being, you know, very intuitive to my own needs and what's going to be right for me and my environment, you know, what's going on in my life. So I got sucked into that. So I'm trying to dig myself out of that hole and just be more intuitive and more holistic to my own needs and what's going to help me heal and thrive. So social
Yeah,
media, man, it's a tricky one.
well, comparison is the thief of joy, and so we get caught up in it. And the devices are very addicting, and the social media companies know this. They take the same technology that they use for gambling in Vegas, and you know, they're on your phone apps, and so the notifications, they're very attractive and addictive to people. And so, you know, what I teach clients is to become intuitive, activate your own innate intelligence. At the cornerstone of that is our gut microbiome. It's the cutting edge of science right now. We have a second brain. So you've got brain ganglia that goes through the vagus nerve, through the heart, and into the stomach or the abdomen area. And so lo and behold, you know, the corporations have been putting pesticides and herbicides, and these things kill the gut microbiome. So a
Right.
lot of people are dealing, they don't have access to their intuition. But that's the highest form of health, is when you are guided. And you brought up another point about stagnation. You know, my meditation teacher used to say, you know, the only constant in the universe is change. And so
Right.
if you're,
Right.
it's a little bit of a oxymoron, but the fact of the matter, I don't know if that's the right analogy, but the fact of the matter is yeah, if you're not shifting with the energy and the times, you're going to stay stagnant, and a stagnant body of water turns into a cesspool.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Going back briefly, you talked about the Vipassana retreats. Is that the ones down there by, I want to say it's in Joshua Tree, but it's probably not. Is that the donation-based one? And you just kind of pay what you can, and then if you come back again, you have to help serve the next time. Is that one?
Yeah, you can sit or serve as an old
Okay, yeah.
student, and
Right.
and it is donation basis, and there are hundreds of centers worldwide.
Yeah, I think there's one up north here by me too.
Yeah, there's one in North Fork. I sat many courses there. There's one out in 29 Palms. I've sat a couple courses out there as well, and it's phenomenal. You know, plant medicine is traveling and waking people up, but look, I say the foundation is with Vipassana meditation. If you want real transformation in your life, and there's tons of research now being done on brain development and neuroplasticity, people with massive amounts of childhood trauma are able to rewire their nervous system and their brain with using Vipassana. Vipassana gets to the root of the mental defilements, which is what drives our emotions and our actions. And so, you know, that's fundamental healing. If people want to do jungle medicine or ayahuasca and stuff like that, that's great, but it's best to have a spiritual foundation. And Vipassana is the top in what I've been able to find on this planet. It's the top for sure. It's fundamental. It's only 10 days, which is a lot of time, but it's also, you know, it's not 2 years in the Himalayas as well. And so you do 10 days and your life's going to change forever.
Yeah. Now, were you doing that in the time when we had phones already, the cell phones? Was it hard for you to disconnect from that and drop the cell phone for a minute?
Nope. I started mine in 1999. So I don't even think last time I sat a course was about 2005. I don't think I had a cell phone by then.
No. Yeah. Yeah, because I interviewed a guy before, and he said it was hard for him to put that phone in the basket and, you know, just disconnect from everybody. Like, you got to say your goodbyes. I'm going to be gone for a bit. And so, yeah. And then they didn't get back on the phone after, just like, do I even want to pick this thing up and turn it on?
Yeah.
You don't want that negative energy again, because it's just, I can't even watch the news anymore. The 6 o'clock news. I just can't watch it. I don't want that in my head.
Yeah, I've got an exit plan. You know, it's like I want off these devices as soon as possible. Right now, I'm using it for my business, but I see how much of a stress it is, and electromagnetic frequencies and pollution is a huge stress. Plus, you're staring at these blue light screens, and it's messing with my eye tracking and my muscles, and my eyesight's deteriorating, and so, yeah, I don't want to be more addicted to these things. I want off of them. So my mind is going towards, you know, an exit plan. And I studied with the Maori for a long time, and the great Maori healer told me, Papa Joe, before he died, he told me the human being is the most technological advanced piece of equipment in the whole entire universe. And Einstein said we're only using 5% of our brain. Right. So these devices are prosthetics compared to what the human brain can do.
Yeah. Well, do you think there's going to be a convergence with the technology and humans? Because I think that's what, you know, geez, I can't think of the name, the Tesla guy.
Ray Kurzweil.
Not him, no, the Tesla guy. God, I can't think of his name. Drawing a blank.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, yeah. So he's like worried about the AI thing, and like the cell phones already, you know, it's already connected to us. It's already part of us. Our photos, our memories are in there. All the information that we need is in there. So eventually, at some point, it's probably gonna be downloaded into our brain or into a matrix, and then we'll just tap into that. And it's neat to think about, but kind of scary at the same time. Like spiritually, we're going way off this way, and then technology is in the forefront. So I think we just have to be careful.
Well, you just have to ask yourself if you want technology embedded into your biology.
Yeah, right.
Spiritually, the answer is clear to me. Fuck no.
Right. Yeah.
So they're going to have to tie me down, you know, at gunpoint. Otherwise, you know, that's not my choice. And so, and yes, you're right. We're already dealing with these phones with exogenous AI. And so, yeah, they'd love to hook the mainframe up to you. I mean, just watch the movie The Matrix and treat that as truth, not science fiction.
Yeah, documentary. Yeah. Well, they said they found that already. I forget who said it, but scientists have already found within nature, they could break it down to a code that's ones and zeros, or, you know what I mean? Have you heard that theory before? So it's like we're already in the matrix.
Yeah, and Elon Musk says, you know, there's a 90% chance we're already living in a simulation.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I just watched something on AI recently to show my children the two ways we can go once we have singularity is total destruction or become God. And that's always the spiritual path.
Right.
That's available for us right now. Jesus said, you can have what I have and more. But what religious, churches teach that?
Right.
They're teaching dogma. But Jesus's one message was simply the golden rule. Love. Love yourself as you'd have other love you. Love others as you would have them love you. So there's only one here. And so the way you treat others is the way you treat yourself, and vice versa. So the golden rule is it. My ex-wife takes the children to church, and I quiz the kids, and I tell them, the only thing you need to take away from that church is the golden rule. And if you're not practicing it, if you're fighting with your sister, or if you're punching her, or trying to stuff her in the toilet bowl or something like that, I'm like, how does the golden rule apply with that? You want me to stuff you in the toilet bowl?
Yeah.
So it's simple at the highest level. It's very simple. So my clarion call to speak my future into existence. I'm here to tell people we can activate the God presence within inside of us. We can activate higher levels of consciousness within inside of us. Go in that direction. Don't be so afraid of the external world. Connect with the internal world inside yourself, because that's directly connected to the big matrix.
Right.
The morphogenetic field, as Rupert Sheldrake calls it, the interconnectedness of all things, the DNA codes, the holographic universe, if you will. And so, this is what people access when they do psychedelic medicines, ayahuasca, psilocybin, peyote. It dissolves the boundaries of the physical realm and taps you into the spirit realm. And so once you realize that, and there's a lot of research with the Silicon Valley executives microdosing LSD and microdosing mushrooms. And if you look at Paul Stamets' work, this mycelium network, it connects through the ionosphere, the atmosphere, and all the way up. They think that mushrooms are alien. And they found the mushroom spores on asteroids. And so we're already connected. So we just have to dissolve the illusion a little bit more, dissolve the boundaries, and tap into that.
Yeah. Well, that brings us back to the whole food thing. We're eating foods that are numbing and suppressing us spiritually, emotionally. And if you're not looking for it, you're not going to find the awakening. It's not going to just happen to fall in your lap. You have to be conscious enough, smart enough to go, something's not right here, and then start. I mean, that's how my journey started. I just started looking for something, and then I found it and opened the floodgates to, food, detoxification, healing, all that stuff. So it's hard because people are eating these foods that are just dumbing them down. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but it's hard.
Well, here's how the system's set up.
He's all, here we go. I'm lay it on me.
If you're sick, well, if you're eating commercial food, which is not food anymore, it's designed to make you sick. And if you look at companies like Purdue, which is a food manufacturer, they also own Purdue Pharma. And what do they produce? Oxycontin. Oh, wow. So if you're eating inflammatory agents and it's giving you pain, and you throw out your knee or your hip or your shoulder and you get immobilized, or you're dealing with chronic pain, they've got Oxycontin for you. And what does synthetic opiates do to you? They contaminate the liver. Your liver has over 900 functions. So, and then what else do they have? Well, if you're dealing with pain or constipation because of Oxycontin, take this drug.
Right.
So they're making you sick, and then they're selling you the solution that doesn't make you better. It treats the symptoms. And then From there, it makes you sicker and sicker. So you're a commodity. That is the matrix. You are sucked into the matrix. If you're sick, most people will go see a doctor. Most people are not healthy. They are asymptomatic. And so but when they get symptoms, they go to the doctor. The doctor treats the symptoms, which usually causes more problems, surgery, they'll cut out something. Your body's not functioning well, we'll just cut it out.
Yeah.
I mean, everything will be better, but everything gets worse once you cut it out. So this is the commercial avenues. Once you're sick, you can go see a doctor. If you're fat, go see a trainer. Most of the trainers are not trained at a very high level in holistic health. They're only trained to help people outrun their shitty diet.
Yeah.
And so it's like the blind leading the blind. And then overtraining is a stress. Nutritional deficiencies are a stress. Blood sugar issues are a stress. So the body becomes overstressed. A body that's overstressed creates inflammation. So this is all a negative feedback loop. And so what you see in the world is most health people on the internet aren't fit. Most fit people aren't healthy. And most spiritual people aren't healthy or fit. So again, it's the blind leading the blind. Who's got the whole complete package? Well, at the cornerstone, you need nutrition. What did the father of modern day medicine say? Hippocrates. Doctors have to take the Hippocratic Oath to get a license. And the Hippocratic Oath says, do no harm. Yet when you look at pharmaceutical drugs, erectile dysfunction, or even death, ask your doctor if this is right for you. Doctors don't have education on actually the phytochemistry and what those drugs do to them, because they get their information from drug representative salespeople that are on commissions. So it's the blind leading the blind. And I've got a great video on pharmaceutical whistleblower, attorney, doctor, and research scientists that were sick to their stomach with the corporations they were working with. Look at my YouTube video on that, whistleblower videos. I think it's drug manufacturers, just Google it, Troy Casey and whistleblower, drug manufacturers. If you vaccinate, watch this, whatever.
Yeah.
Watch that video, because it's about 15 minutes long, and it goes in depth to the corruption and the collusion. It's all fact-based. And so this is what's happening on the planet Earth. So reverse that. How do you get healthy? Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. So it sounds like you need nutrition to actually heal the human body. And what does the human body need? Well, the closed organic cycle is energy from the sun, radiation from the sun is converted through photosynthesis into chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is known as plant blood. It's got the same exact match to hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is human blood. Wow, it's a direct interface to get those green materials into your bloodstream. And then the herbivores eat the plants, and the omnivores eat the herbivores and the plants. Everybody dies. The microbes eat the carcasses and feed the plants, which uptake the microbes and the minerals that they break down. This is called the closed organic cycle of life on Earth in biology. And this is not going away anytime ever.
Right.
And so when you have this understanding, then you move towards natural substances, natural rhythms of life, natural, circadian rhythms, natural food. And you can assist the body in the detoxification process using fasting, using herbs, using juice cleansing, etc., to upgrade the system and keep it cleaned out, because we're dealing with 150 years of industrial waste and toxic compounds. There's been billions of pounds of toxic compounds pumped into the environment since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. And so that's a huge stress on the human body. How do you clean that out of the tissues? Well, fasting's been around since day one.
Right.
To go without is to go within. The Essenes taught Jesus how to fast. And so this is ancient technology. And so, get real with yourself. People, get out there and look in the mirror. Who do I want to be? Who do I want to exemplify? Find those people online. Who's healthy into their 50s, 60s, 70s? Look at Jack LaLanne's work in the past. And Jack LaLanne, the food supply wasn't as fucked up when he was alive. It
Right.
just, GMOs came on the market in 96. So, take all that stuff with a grain of salt, because you can't outrun your bad diet. And so there's some fundamental, holistic principles, but nutrition is at the cornerstone of it.
Right. I completely agree. Now, with that being said, with all that knowledge that you just dropped, how does one live in the world that we have today and keep it in a healthy balance with the food? I mean, you can come in contact with chemicals all day long. Do you live in a bubble? Do you live in fear? How do you balance it? How do you balance it out? Because I say you need a pinch of orthorexia, just a dash of narcissism, and a whole shit ton of, soul searching just to keep it balanced. Can't be too crazy, but too extreme, but you got to keep it within balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. In the spiritual world, everybody's trying to get rid of the ego, but the fact of the matter is the ego is balanced, right? Ego gets you out of bed in the morning. There's nothing wrong with ego, aesthetics. You're in the physical realm. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Understand it. Look in the mirror. Who do you want to be? What's your body composition want to be? Draw a rudimentary picture, stick figure, I don't care. Put it up on your refrigerator and move towards that goal. Nothing's more powerful than a made-up mind. So get a clear mental picture on where you want to be, even if it's driven by aesthetics or vanity. It doesn't matter. Nature's first law is self-preservation.
Right.
The reason six-pack abs or Kardashian consciousness is so popular is because everybody wants to get laid at the biochemical level. Nature's first law is self-preservation. So don't misunderstand our sexuality. Use it. And, getting laid is representative of finding a mate, creating a family, love, etc. But the corporations are well aware of this. Look at the advertising. If you don't have the toothpaste, you're not going to get the girl. If you don't have the right car, you're not going to get the girl. And so all this is implied through television advertising. And so flip that script around, figure out who you want to be, and start going in a natural direction. All this external bullshit is fake. The yogis and the Taoists figured it out a long time ago. Breathing, hydration, nutrition, sleep, movement, thoughts, sunlight, grounding into the earth, nature, love. These are the types of things that you need on a regular and constant basis to fill your cup up. You can't go out in the world with an empty cup. You got nothing for anybody else. Everybody's, I live in LA, everybody's like, yeah, just be loving and kind. Well, most people are living in the matrix, freaking out. They don't have the energy to do that.
Yeah.
People don't have the time for each other because of the systems. So you have to understand all that and create your own system.
Right. Well, so you just brought up the ego. So maybe this will kind of lead us into your fitness journey that you just took. So was that a little bit ego driven to create a body that you feel comfortable in, something that you want to show to other people? Was that ego based, or was that just what was the driving force behind that or just overall health, just to have a better body?
Well, all of the above, but the fact of the matter is my mission on this planet is to raise human consciousness and change all systems on the planet. That's energy, education, farming, transportation, money and oil got to go if we are to survive on this planet. And the futurists are already talking about a post-capitalistic world. So get over your money supply, guys. It's going to upgrade soon. Pumping gasoline into your vehicle is an act of genocide. Look at all the wars, Sudan, Darfur, Ethiopia 20, 25 years ago. This is all about the brown crude in the Sudan, in that area. The Middle East, whatever we do to others, that's usually for their natural resources. So me using a little bit of my aesthetics and my vanity and the gifts that the Creator gave me, yeah, there's some ego in that. But again, if you don't have your ego intact, what's going to get you out of bed? Nothing. Right. And so the ego in the third dimension serves its purpose. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You keep it in check. So my methodology for all my social media platforms, Yeah, I was a Versace model. I've been a television actor for many years. I use my aesthetic and the gifts the creator give me to affect change. There's not too many 53-year-old human beings on the planet that have the functionality or the musculature in their physiology. And
Right.
so without testosterone replacement therapy or some form of hormone enhancement. And so I'm all natural, I'm holistic. I'm showing people what is potentially possible. If
Right.
I
Right.
can
Right.
do it, then anybody else can do it. There are literally fundamental principles. Healing takes time and energy, dedication, commitment, consistency. And I'm just proof. I went into the gym. I was a little bit skinny. I lost a bunch of weight. I got chronic fatigue. I got black mold poisoning. I had autoimmune issues, joint pain, intramuscular pain that would go from one side of the body to the next. I had complete exhaustion. And so I healed myself from that and then challenged myself to get my physiology on point. And I challenged myself to ripped at 50, hashtag ripped at 50, and hashtag on the road to Yoked. So I went back into the gym and lifted weights for a year, and I put my ego aside. I went to Gold's Gym where some of the biggest bodybuilders in the world are. You know,
Yeah.
Mr. Olympia is there. Arnold Schwarzenegger is there. 50 Cent is there. You know, this is a big gym and they've got big dumbbells. I was picking up 5-pound dumbbells, man. I put my ego aside. As long as I'm doing multi-joint exercises and good posture, I built step by step the functionality of my system and didn't injure myself. So staying injury-free and healthy was
Right.
super important to me. And so I did that for about 6 months with super low weights, super high reps, and just really got the functionality turned on. I did corrective exercises. I did all functional exercises. And so I built my musculature and my nervous system back on. Within 6 months, I really started to see it crystallize. Then I pumped up my macronutrients, gained a little bit more size. I'm still after another 5 pounds of muscle, but I'm very pleased with my results. You know, nothing's more powerful than a made up mind. I set my intention, I set my mind, I did a year, and I got incredible results.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about that. So you said you did some corrective exercise in, what was that, CBD?
Yeah, I've got 1,500 milligrams of pure CBD. It's full spectrum CO2 extracted, organically grown hemp oil. And
Will that one test positive on a drug test?
It has 0.03% THC, and the potential for it to test positive is yes.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about being drug tested, the potential is there, but it's not psychoactive.
Right. Yeah.
And so if you got anxiety and depression, it could definitely make you feel amazing. I've got a lot of clients who love it for that exact reason. But there is no psychoactive component unless,
Right.
you know, just feeling good is psychoactive.
Right. So you mentioned doing some corrective exercise. So before you started, did you do check any muscle imbalances? Did you get that straightened out first so you're not creating a worse condition if you have some kind of muscle imbalance happening and you're not overcompensating somewhere? Was that important to do that initially?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I posted, my mentor is Paul Chek. He's the leader in holistic health and functional fitness. He trains the world's elite trainers, a lot of them in MMA, action sports, motocross, and boxing. I mean, skateboarding, everything. And he's rehabbed, you know, Laird Hamilton, Danny Way from a broken neck in '94, Robbie Madison. The doctors told him he would never, you know, ride a motorcycle again, and now he's jumping Caesar's Palace. Anyhow, Paul's the leader in holistic health and fitness on the planet, and he's developed assessment programs for his advanced elite trainers. And I did a Check 4 assessment. You can see it on my YouTube channel, where the guy went through and saw how gravity was pulling down on my musculoskeletal systems. They have calipers to measure, you know, your clavicle and your thoracic joints. Right. And so it was very, very high tech and fine tuned. And then, you know, his exercises are all in his book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. So I knew how to apply all those things, turn on the core, the multifidus, pelvic floor, and diaphragm, make sure the breathing apparatus is functioning optimally, make sure the core is firing, and then basically reactivating the posterior chain. So everything in your back, because we're sitting, stretch out the hip flexors and the psoas. And it's balancing because, I'm sitting today. I drove to San Diego yesterday. That was 5 hours worth of sitting. So you're constantly counterbalancing gravity and our domestication of being a domestic animal, basically living indoors. And so I do hanging, I do certain yoga poses like mountain pose will actually activate the posterior chain. I do other glute activation. So really getting that on point. And even if you've got perfect posture and you're activated, it's good to do those exercises from time to time because it helps you, keeps the nervous system fresh, and it helps keep you
Like muscle memory,
upright and erect. And a lot of the corrective exercises are nervous system based, not musculoskeletal. And so it activates the nervous system. So even when you're tired, you're turned on, right? Does that make sense?
Right. So did you go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully I finished answering that question.
So did you, like, when you went through your training protocol, whatever you're doing, did you start off like with just very light weights and high reps? You're like building some muscle endurance, so down the road you could have the strength and the power to lift some heavier stuff? Did you get that extreme with it, like very start? Because I did personal training for a couple of years, and that was a long time ago. But I'd take clients, I would even have them do like stability exercises or any of that stuff. I just have them, just body weight exercises first, get that down, and then start doing the proprioception type of stuff, the stability stuff. Just get their endurance built up first, and then you can start working on strength and power. So did you kind of break it down like that as well?
Yeah, so it goes flexibility, stability, strength, and power. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
So flexibility, mobility is very important. And then stability are stabilizers that are wrapped around our spine with our psoas, our hip flexors. I mean, it's all interconnected.
Right.
But to get, your spine erect, your thoracic, firing, and so you've got good posture, you're counterbalancing all this computer work and sitting in cars. I mean, aging, you ever see an old guy? He's like hunched over. So you want to
hip flexors, yeah.
You want to do the things that are going to be the opposite of gravity, and it's going to open the front of the body up.
Right.
And so when you do that, you activate that on a regular and constant basis. That's the foundation for fitness. Most people aren't ready for a strenuous exercise program. Most people should just do walking consistently. Once they get a few months of under their belt of going out, doing 20, 30 minutes of walking in nature or just walking around the block, once they're consistent with that, then they can upgrade their program. But get consistent first in moving your body. And then, when you're in the gym, you want to make sure that you're doing fully functional exercises. Can I pick this up, lift it, and then, put it over my head? Can I climb a tree and get up there and get the fruit out of it? What did we used to do as paleo man? How did we survive? That's the way our apparatus functions optimally. And you want full functioning apparatus.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been to the gym in a while, but I remember when I used to go in there, you'd see some guys doing some crazy stability exercises. I'm just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Taking it way too far. It looks totally dangerous, but yeah, I get it. But so what are your thoughts on this? Is it important for someone who maybe, say, spent their life eating shitty food and they built their body with a shitty foundation on a cellular level, they built it on crap? Is it important to detox and cleanse the body first? Like clean the slate so you have a good, strong foundation, a clean foundation, and then start building on top of that? Is it important, or is that just overthinking it?
Well, I think it's a great place to start. I mean, I've been doing cleanses, 3 to 4 cleanses a year for the past 30 years. And most clients have never done that. Most people that follow me have never done that. It's a great place to start. Why? Because it's going to nutrify the cells and it's
Right.
going to allow the body to naturally detoxify the liver, the kidney, and the organs. These are the, major organs in the body. And we've all heard of a constipated colon. I think 90% of Americans suffer from constipation.
Right.
So, and once the colon's impacted, it backs up into the liver and kidneys. So starting out with an organic, anabolic, superfood, whole food, raw food cleanse is apropos. Now, I've been doing juice fasting for years. My business partner has been growing organic wheatgrass and drying it and concentrating it and bottling it and taking it off his farms and delivering it straight to your door for years. So you don't have to even buy a juicer. And the particular cleanse that I work with have pre-digested vegan amino acids. Very powerful, effective protein. Best protein I've found on the market. It makes whey look like child's play. You can stack muscle on it. They use it for kidney patients wasting away in the hospital bed. Gluconeogenesis is muscle wasting, and people can die from that. And so these amino acids build muscle whether you work out or not. So it's anabolic, which means it's muscle activating. And what that does when you're on a cleanse like that, a calorie deficit, is it goes after the fat deposit where the fat soluble toxins are, usually in your skin, in your muscle tissue, around your heart, around your organs. And so this goes in, not only nutrifies the body, but it naturally cleanses and detoxifies. It naturally takes the body through its own cleansing process. Because remember, again, the father of modern day medicine, Hippocrates, simply said, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. So the food is going to naturally detoxify. People should be putting these powerful superfoods into their body daily, because the food supply has been so raped and pillaged from these commercial fertilizers, commercial toxic pesticides and herbicides. It's sprayed on the plants, and they use petrochemicals, glyphosate, petrochemicals, and so the rabbit hole goes deep. So reverse that. Find people that are healthy. Find things that are fundamental. Fasting and juice cleansing and nutrition has been used as the cornerstone for healing for millennia, for as long as human beings have walked the face of the planet.
Yeah. Are you a fan of fasting post-exercise? Or do you, because we got sucked into the protein 30-minute window, got to get your nutrients in 30 minutes after. I know that's all debunked and that's a myth now, but do you fast after exercising for recovery or no?
Sometimes I do everything intuitively. And so there's many approaches, and there's a lot of misnomers, and the blind's leading the blind. So everyone's got their theory, hypothesis, all of it. It doesn't mean anything. You have to be able to pull it off in your own biology and physiology for it to have any relevance, any ballast in reality. And so, test things out. Look at the person who is fundamentally preaching it. If it's a doctor in a suit, find him with his shirt off and see if he's actually healthy. And so, apply these principles only if someone else is exemplifying that which you wish to become. Otherwise, you can just discount it. It's just another theory.
Right. Now, are you 100% vegan? You're not, right?
I got sick as a vegan. I got severely anemic.
Oh, did you?
I went 2 years. I was hardcore, man. I bought into all the dogma, and I really wanted it to work. There was a good cleansing process the first couple of months, and I was amazed at how much eating vegetation, made me poop in the beginning. And I was like, wow, okay, this is great. But then long term, I didn't have enough nutrition and I got severely anemic. So I think some people can pull it off. I think Mercola's research shows that about 6% of the population can do a vegetarian or vegan diet, but most people have challenges, on it long term, especially.
Yeah, but some people would just say, well, that's just, you're detoxing. You're going through a healing crisis. You just got to ride that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but those fuckers bit the dogma cookie. And a lot of those guys, look, a lot of famous vegans have written me over the years, and I've helped them get back on meat because they end up wasting away. And then they've got their brand attached to it. And and they don't want to say anything contrary to what they've been preaching. But then they're losing their teeth, they're losing their musculature, they're falling apart. And so you know, and I'm not just talking about one or two, I'm talking about multiple. And so because I have a lot of content on the vegan diet on YouTube, and so people start arguing with me, but then when they look in the mirror and they, over the years, the muscle wasting or the other nutritional deficiencies start creeping up on them, then they're like, oh my God, I better call Troy. And then they, you know, they do it secretively. And, you know, I don't want to, you know, burst their bubble, but the fact of the matter, and then then they'll find a paleo or a keto. It's not about a food paradigm. I preach and teach the no diet diet. I have a lot of friends that are at my level, and they adopt a vegan lifestyle when their intuition calls for it. And then they go in and out of it. They're not stuck. They're not stagnant. They're not living dogma. They're
right.
They're being guided by their intuition and by their nutritional requirements. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess, I mean, besides the ethical component of why, I mean, I'm not judging. I'm more a vegetarian than I am vegan, but just seems like ethically, you know, if you're trying to be a spiritual, compassionate person, you wouldn't go down that road. And just with all the scientific peer-reviewed research that says that animal products just isn't healthy for our species, do you think that's just all propaganda too? Or I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know. It gets confusing because there's so much information out there, and then you're like, well, fuck, what do I do with all this? I don't know where to go. So, like, I guess be intuitive, like you said, but you know, with Esselstyn and Caldwell saying, you know, stay away from the animal products. It's like, what do you do with all this information?
I mean, I've been hearing it for years, and I mean, I know multiple vegans that have been healed from cancer on a more balanced diet.
Yeah.
You know, the body will start eating itself. It'll catabolize its own tissue to feed the brain if it's not getting the proper nutrition. And so especially something like B12. So it'll literally go through and cannibalize its own tissue. That's driven by cortisol, which is driven by adrenaline. And the adrenaline, cortisol, and insulin are the primary hormonal pathways. And your insulin will definitely spike if you're not getting the proper nutrition as well. And from there, you're facing burnout. And lo and behold, what do I see with a lot of vegans? I mean, I live next to the Santa Monica Co-op, and a lot of the old timers I see in there, and they're all premature aging. You know, many of them are premature aging. They don't look healthy. They don't look vital. Their skin is withdrawn, wrinkled. I see it consistently. And so, you know, anyone can have their theory, and anyone can have a healing. Here's the biggest trap that I see. The standard American diet has basically been poisoned. And so people are being poisoned. And then they look in the mirror and they wake up and it's like, I'm poisoned. And so then they find the vegan YouTubers or the vegan platforms and they say, oh, here's a utopian diet. This will solve all your problems. And this is what happened to me on YouTube early on. You know, I was very vocal about my negative experience on the vegetarian vegan diet. And people hated me for that. But the fact of the matter is that was my own experience. And as the internet developed, and a lot of the people that were with David Wolf or followed David Wolf, they all got sick too. Daniel Vitalis, Frankie G's wife, Goji Girl. I mean, they had acne and adrenal exhaustion. You saw it all. And then they started going into raw milk and pasture-raised animals, and Daniel Vitalis is hunting his own animals right now, and he's selling colostrum and deer antler. And, you know, spiritually, the principle is put towards us. We don't want to be doing harm, but spiritually, if you recognize the closed organic cycle, life eats life. And when we respect or we harvest our own animals in hunting, or we support humane practices in farming or whatever, not only do you feel more whole and nourished, but you also understand and respect the animal that has given its life for you to have more life. So it taps you into the spiritual realm more, in my humble opinion. There's nothing worse than a zealot that's out there burned out and imbalanced from their soapbox, preaching what's not working for them and vilifying and putting down others that are not matching up to their dogma. That's dangerous. And
Right.
so, but you see that everywhere. That's typical, religion, does that type of things.
Yeah.
Study the closed organic cycle for anyone out there who thinks they're a vegan, right? Plants are carnivorous.
Well,
So,
I think the ethical argument is going to be thrown out the window once the clean meat starts hitting the market and the Good Food Institute starts rolling that out. Not that that's health food, but at least we can get rid of the ethical debate then, right? Don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and I think people need to recognize only 4 to 8% of food on the planet is organically grown.
Right.
So it's time to start, supporting these small farmers that are going up against these major corporations, finding companies like mine, the Purium company, that has high quality nutrients delivered straight to your door from our farms that are far away from the city centers without the industrial waste going on them, the mineral rich soil, volcanic ash beds. We deliver straight to your door. Find a couple other companies that do mail order, even if it's grass-fed meats or wild fish, etc., and support these companies. It's us that's going to change the world. You vote with your dollars. Everybody knows the voting system's all fraudulent.
Yeah.
The whole political system's bought and paid for. You want to affect change, do what Gandhi said. Become the change you wish to see in the world. Become a strong, resilient human being that can affect change. We don't need weak, waifs, blowing in the wind,
right,
preaching things that are unsustainable for most people. We need holistically healthy, powerful, strong individuals. That's what the world needs.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll start wrapping this up here pretty quick. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you just posted an interview yesterday with Mike Murphy about his I forget the app that he has, the Creation Frequency, and I thought that was a great conversation you guys had, and just the power of manifestation. If you can visualize it, you can create almost anything you want out of your life. You just have to believe it. And I got into a conversation with Ronnie Landis about this too, about creating a future manifestation, but there's that lag time from your present self to the future self of you, and that's the space where you got to work and grow and all that stuff. But I had a question about the interview that you and Mike Murphy did about intention and manifestation, because he has an app where you speak your intention into the app, right, and you listen to it twice a day, what have you. Now, if your intention got multiple steps to it, is it important to just speak the intention, the end result, or should you start at the beginning and knock out that first step? You know what I mean? And then
end result.
Just do the end result. Yeah.
Speak as if it's already manifested. So I am, I have, I can, I will, I love, I create.
So don't get tripped up in all the small details of it.
I am, I have, I love, I will, I create, I can. Keep it in positive, conscious language. I am language. And speak with the end and result. Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
And then you got to believe it and have faith and let it go. What happens is people obsess on it. It's not showing up. It's not showing up. It's not showing. And the universe always delivers. It's not showing up. It's not showing up. It's not.
Yeah.
So just, I am raising human consciousness and changing all systems. My vision is clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Boom. That's my mantra.
Yeah, I love it. So what's some simple actions or advice that you can give to someone who wants to create a better, happier, a healthier life, who's kind of stuck, doesn't have the motivation? Just maybe some words of advice you can give to. Of course, there's a dog. Just some words of advice.
So you can mute your phone, by the way. So I would say get very conscious on what you want. And so you want to mute your phone? So can you ask that question again? I lost my train of thought.
I was just going to say, just for somebody out there who's struggling to make a healthier lifestyle, they want to do it. They have the vision of themselves in the future, but every Monday rolls around, they just can't get started. They can't do it. So just some tips or some advice for somebody to start, how they can start living a healthier, happier life. I think that's a struggle we all have.
Yeah, nothing's more powerful than a made-up mind. Understand that the body requires movement. It requires hydration. It requires nutrition. It requires nutrition in the form of positive thoughts. So reprogramming your consciousness is very important. Start wrapping your mind around this. Watch my videos. Watch Paul Chek's videos. Start moving in the direction. Mark that up on your refrigerator. And start moving in that direction. The body needs movement every day. Get out there and start walking. You need to correct your breath. You need to make sure that your breathing apparatus works. Cellular respiration affects us at the cellular level. And so you want to make sure that your whole diaphragm is opening up so you're getting the oxygen nutrition into the body. So do all my Qigong, Tai Chi, do the stork walk to repattern. Do the stork walk to repattern your diaphragm.
The drunken monkey, I love that one. That's a good one.
drunken monkey's good for getting the kinks out of the neck and the rest of the body. And so just find out, where your stuff is, that where your kinks are, and that can also move into your stability as well. So just find little things that you're willing to do every day. Gym memberships are great, but if you're not going to use them, fuck them. Get out there and walk.
Right, right.
Do whatever you can. If you got a bicycle, ride that to work instead. Start figuring it out. If work's too far and it's too cold and it's all this, go invest $2,000 in a nice bicycle and a nice suit, nice winter suit, and get your ass out there and ride back and forth to work. You'll lose the weight instantly. Eat organic food. Wrap your head around organic food because that's what the body requires. I don't care about all the reports out there. I'm here to tell you and rip off my clothes that organic food is what the human body needs. If you're eating anything else, you're contaminating yourself. And so body requires organic food. It needs good relationships. It needs sunlight. It needs as much sunlight as you can possibly get. You need to recognize aspects around stress and electromagnetic pollution. So just getting the mind clear, and then put in a couple of simple action steps. Drinking more clean water, eating more towards organic. I tell my clients, eat when you're hungry, eat real food. That's the no diet diet. Eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long as it's real food, as long as it's vegetable or a high quality grass-fed meat or wild fish, you can basically eat whatever you want. Keep it balanced.
Right. It's good advice. I love it. I think of the
first... I will say one thing on the nutrition. Stay away from the inflammatory agents. The 4 white devils is a good way to remember that. It's white flour, white sugar, white table salt, and white pasteurized dairy. Also understand that soy is not meant for human consumption. So soy is not good food unless you want man boobs. And then you've got corn, soy, wheat. These are all sprayed with glyphosate. And so, and will contaminate the tissues. Right. So move in a direction that's away from inflammatory agents.
Right. Now I know you experiment with that urine therapy thing. You don't promote that, right? I know you did something. Oh, you're like, hey, I'm not going to answer that.
No, I promote Shivambu. It's an ancient Ayurvedic technique.
Okay.
It's one of the top techniques from the yogis, but it's so esoteric and it's drinking your piss, so people don't get into it and people get offended. I don't care. I got tons of videos on it. I've been doing urine therapy for 15 years. I love it.
Oh, do you? Okay. Right.
I drink my morning middle stream of urine every single morning. It's a direct biofeedback loop of what's happening inside my biocomputer. I'm attached to the environment. So I want a biofeedback loop. I want the feedback loop to what's working and what's not. The urine's loaded with antibodies and hormones and amino acids. And it's also going to give me a direct feedback loop of what's working or not working in my program. And it's all intuitive super high energetic level to where you just know. And so, and if anybody's got gut issues, I mean, aged urine enemas clear up amazing parasitic infections like nothing else I've done.
Yeah. I know people use it for eye wash, because I interviewed somebody who does it too. They do it for the eye wash and they bathe in it and all that stuff. Like, still doesn't resonate with me, but I don't know. I haven't tried it, so I can't argue with it. So I don't know. So,
well, I'm the certified health nut, so I can get away with it. I put it on my body.
Yeah.
I take it out to the beach here. Nobody can smell me out there. I put it on there, and it smells like ammonia, and it's really strong, but it's good medicine, man. I mean,
is it? I don't know. I don't know, man.
Well, if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. But I got to tell you,
Game changer. Yeah.
it's like up there with Vipassana. It's up there with breath work. You mentioned some similarities with Wim Hof. I've never studied Wim's materials, but the basis of it is breath work and cold showers, and I've been doing that for years. So I don't care whether you call it Wim Hof or you call it pranayama or you call it cold thermogenesis. It doesn't matter. Call it shit on a stick. Get in some cold water. It's going to teach you. Breathe however you can. It's going to teach you.
Right. All right, man. I think that's a good place to end it. Do you want to plug real quick your man tribe thing that you're doing? I know you keep promoting that. Is that a group for men to get together and explore masculinity? And you need to come up north, man. You got to come up to the Bay Area and do one of those.
Hey, man, book it.
I'll host you.
And book it and do some marketing around it. I'll come up for sure. I'll come. I teach and travel all around the world. So if you want to book an event, just do it. We'll put together the marketing and we'll pull it off. We've got the Man Tribe. Man Tribe is on Man Tribe on Facebook. It's also on man.tribe on Instagram. We've got a workshop coming up this week. This Sunday in Los Angeles. I'll be teaching all my Qigong, breath work, all my knowledge around nutrition and stress management, which stress management and sleep for me are the biggest leverage points that the modern day human has. People are trying to outrun their bad diet, but that's just another stress.
Right.
So if you can fine tune the nutrition and sleep and stress management, your gains in the gym will be much higher. So we've got that. We've got more coming up. And yes, we've got support for sacred masculinity in that group. And then from there, I do group cleanses every single month. And so I've got a 40-day nutritional cleanse. People can clean out their organs, start feeling better, looking better. They'll lose anywhere from 5 to 20 pounds in the first 10 days.
Oh, wow.
And we've got the cleanest, best micronutrition on the planet, guaranteed. I've got organic CBD oil that people are having experiences with. And then I've got, lectures, workshops, and retreats year round. I always got something new coming up. Best place to, connect with that is the Instagram. And then if you have any questions, just hit me up on Instagram and I'm happy to help anyone. I'm here to serve on this planet. Be grateful that Troy Casey's got some ego, because that ego helps me cut through the shit. I'm here to serve humanity. I'm here for planet Earth and the future children. And that's the bottom line. I'm a warrior. I was given this energy for a reason. Thank God I'm on the planet. All hands on deck. We need everybody awake right now. And I'm here to help inspire that.
Yeah. Leave the playground clean the way you found it and get out. Yep. All right, cool. Awesome, man. I love it. I appreciate you giving your time. You have so much knowledge, so much wisdom. We could talk about so many other things, but just thanks for coming on for a short period. I appreciate it, man. You're awesome, dude.
Thanks, brother. I'll see you soon, Chris. You take care.
All right, cool. Don't hang up.